Check. All right.
Yep. 1 2 1 2
1 2. Hey. Welcome back, Black Magick TV. And tonight on this is the election night episode where we absolutely won't talk about the election. And joining me is our good friend, Mr. Keenan Nichols. Keenan, thank you.
Good to be back.
I need like a fake. I should start inserting like a crowd noise there.
Track.
I need an applause track in there. I'll have to start doing that.
I'll take it. I'll take all the applause I can get.
Yeah, here we'll redo it. All right, joining us tonight is our good friend, Mr. Keenan Nichols.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Keenan, you haven't. This is your first time. I realized after you got here, you hadn't been to my new house yet. So you're getting to see the new.
Yeah, the new digs.
The first time you were on, it was the ghetto as fuck in my living room of my old apartment with lapel mics, and now we've got.
I don't mind the lapel mics.
Yeah, I didn't either. One of them gave out, so I gotta get a hold of that company.
Because sometimes once you get the 404 involved, people. They get real handsy with it.
Yeah, they do get real handsy with them. I've noticed that. And there's some people that do like a room mic.
Yeah.
But like, dude, like you put that thing on, you start hearing the fucking, you can hear that goddamn light bulb talking to you with that thing.
Glenn Johns is just giggling somewhere.
Yeah. Oh man. So how have you been?
I've been good. I did a little revisit on the last time I was here.
Okay.
I did watched. And it's really interesting. I thought it was really interesting because a lot of the things that we talked about are just like touched on, as far as irons in the fire for myself.
Right.
Like really came to fruition after doing the episode.
Right.
Like.
We manifested that.
Yeah, manifested a bunch of shit. Yeah.
Maybe that's it. The Black Magick TV, a manifestation podcast.
I mean, a wizard must study his spells every day.
That is true. Yeah, so now you're full-blown tattoo man.
Tattoo, full-blown tat daddy now.
Because you had just started.
Yeah, I was just kind of manifesting my own shit. Like
you were like doing the counter, right? And like getting
I just kind of gotten there because during the Pandeezy, I kind of started doing my own due diligence with painting and a little home scratching on some friends. But now I'm licensed and doing the deal. Like, I'm there 4 or 5 nights a week from 4 p.m. to 1 a.m.
And how do you like it?
Oh, I fucking love it. Love it. It's like everything in my art career up until now was all just leading here and informing to here. Right. So it's exactly where I want to be. I'm having a blast. It's it's never comfortable. There's so many variables and stuff. It's just like, it's like riding a wild fucking horse without a fucking saddle every fucking day. But
it's one of those jobs
I love
that you're not a clock jockey anymore.
No, I mean,
which bartending not, but as a bartender, and you guys typically kind of get your nights where like. You might have a random night where it's like, this is a fucking major blowout. But your regulars, you kind of get an idea of what you're going to make on that shift, And
it was very similar coming from like, 25, 26 years and with service industry background. That only helped me in the tattoo world.
Right.
Being able, to talk to people or gift or gab or even just like.
Not take shit.
Yeah. Get down with people because there's a lot of tattooers out there that are great, but they can't do this part.
Right. Yeah, they're like. Especially I wonder if that's like a younger person thing too, where they're like very introverted or
maybe
grew up on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely, I think so.
Afraid to talk to people,
Or I mean,
or old guys that are assholes.
Old guys develop it too, But
I feel like Wes, the way he is, he sort of breeds people into like he like molds them into being like
he's got a really
those kind of people. He's almost has like a fucking old school tattoo school going.
He's really got it down.
Yeah,
he's got a technique of teaching and like getting you up and through the paces that it's just like, handed down for, almost over 100 years now, that it's like tried and true. And it's just like, well, now that I'm on the other side of it and seeing it with like, other like new people in the shop and stuff. And it's just like, I'm like the Redford meme. Like,
yeah, you're just sitting back like, yes, I see working, this.
Yeah,
the first time they realized like, oh, he's not shitting. He's not bullshitting. Like, Wes is pretty
he's
straightforward, as real as they come.
He's the real deal.
Like, also doesn't take shit.
Doesn't take shit, but he's also like he blows me away with like his amount of like almost like a monk style, like able to like forgive or let shit go, or like turn like not dwell on some like negative shit. It's just like I don't take that for granted from him at all.
Yeah, no, he this is the kind of guy Wes is. Wes is the kind of guy that fucking asked me like 20 different times, and I kind of told him like, you just got to annoy the shit out of me, and eventually I'll have a free moment to like do whatever it is you need me to do on your car.
Yeah.
And I ran down there to like adjust the door in his car and got it all rigged up right, and he's like, how much do I owe you? I'm like, no, it's good, dude. Like, it was not shit. Like, I got you. It's cool. We're cool, dog. Like, at some point I'll call upon you for your services, But then he's like, walks up to me and just like has this bill folded up so tiny. Like, is like tiny, like, so it was like folded that small, and just like slid it into my pocket and was like, you gotta take that. I'm like, okay. In my head, I'm going, it's fucking like $20 for dinner or something. It's fucking $100 bill when I got home. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like,
no, he's the real deal, and he's been that way as long as I've known him. I met Wes in Dallas in the 90s. Like, when I was in my 20s, I moved to Dallas, and I was getting tattooed by Richard Stell. And at the time, Richard Stell had moved out of his shop and was out at Fine Line in Mesquite. And that's where Wes was. And so that's where I met Wes when I was like a fucking kid,
Right.
So he's always been like that, like going to barbecues and shit at Richard Stell's house. I just remember, or being up at Fine Line, he's always been like that. Like,
when we had the Savage 7, when the band was playing, our flyers were always like some like titty photo from Easy Rider magazine from back in the day with like just like weed leaves and whatever else all over it. And at one time I did something one year. I think we were playing the Union Library, or not the library, but the Union for like New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And like Dan had made this whole thing, and it was like a big deal. And I made these flyers that was like a dude with a shotgun on a couch, like a biker dude with two naked chicks, and it just had like weed leaves falling all around it and like crazy weed font, and had all the bands. And like I got a phone call from like some super like Westport commission guy that was like, how dare you put these up in the businesses and the windows? And he's like, your band is banned from having flyers. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I go, Wes had like gotten a bunch of them and just had the whole front of the old shop when it was over on 30.
Just
the whole front window
them.
was plastered of that flyer. And I was just like, oh shit, that's cool.
Oh my God. Today I was talking to him, and we'd found this like a stack of flyers from some show that he kept that was supposed to happen, and then COVID happened, so it never happened. It was like some like show the shop was sponsoring. He's like, I kept a stack of these.
Yeah.
I figured it was important. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure like he's probably got the car show flyers that I've brought to him, and
oh, man,
I need to take I did some prints. I printed my first poster at the shop, so
sick.
That came out cool. We met Jim Madison. Jim
Madison? Yeah.
So we met Jim Madison in St. Louis.
Oh, you met him in the flesh. We met him
in the flesh.
Oh my God, that guy's Instagram is so insane. Like, good. Like, he's just like got that like brain where he's like telling you everything he does.
Right, dude. But so Nico and I have been like obsessed with his live streams, especially when they print. When that Nick dude comes over and they print, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we were like, had all these questions, and we met him, and he knew who Nico was. And at one point, Jim is like just the fucking coolest dude ever. And like the first 2 hours of the art show thing we were at, we weren't even in our booths. We were just standing there like picking his brain on stuff.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you guys got to do posters. You got to make posters. And then later on, Nico and I are like, dude, should we ask him about doing it? Because he'd just done this Dirty Donnie collab. He'd done these other things. And we're like, yo, I don't know. Like, maybe. I was like, fuck it. I'm the business guy. Like, we're going to shoot our shot, dog. So I'm alone with Jim. And I'm like, hey, Nico and I were wondering. He goes, yeah. He's like, yeah, I don't understand why you guys want to do this with me because you guys don't need me. Like,
right.
You guys' shit is already cool.
No, he's very down to earth. He's so down to earth.
You're like the fucking, the mob boss of poster printing to us.
Oh,
like,
I mean, yeah, he's
the
the king of copy paste.
Yeah,
still,
dude.
real deal cutting.
Deal, dude. And it's like the way he makes those backgrounds.
Oh, and the texture and all that shit.
And then adding the layers.
So, yeah.
Dude, he did that Mickey Mouse this week. Do you see that Mickey Mouse where he put the executioner head?
Yeah.
And now today he printed these like crazy versions of it. So I'm like, I got to hit you up on that.
Yeah, and he's got flat files just full of
crazy shit.
Stuff ready to go.
And that's what that print is behind me. He gave me that.
That Truckin' 75?
Yeah.
Sick.
And so we gave him, and then Julie, that helps him. I didn't realize that she helped Jim. She's his neighbor, so she goes with him to the shows.
Oh, no shit.
But I know her from online from the fucking vanning community because she's big in the vanning world. So it's this weird connection.
Small world.
Where it's like, Nico and I are like, oh yeah. But we're trying to convince him to come out at the end of the month for the informal ball that we're throwing.
Oh, cool.
And like let him set up, and then also be
I bet he'll come.
We're trying hard to convince him. If I have to, I'll buy him a hotel
I've never
room.
met him, and I know I've probably had at least 5 conversations with him over Instagram.
Oh yeah, he rules. I've been like, I sent him a text on Instagram to be like, hey, what kind of, we're gonna build a poster press. Like, what frames do I need? If we're like, what would you, what do you recommend? He's like, just fucking call me. So I call him in like the middle of the day, and we're on the phone for like 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just laying all this game to me. Like, you need this. You got to do this. Don't worry about that. Just fucking do it. So a day later, I bought a piece of wood and made like a ghetto poster press. And then I printed up these Cool Cat posters. And then I just sent it to him. I was like, dude, I made a poster. He's like, oh, that's fucking badass, dude. He's like nothing but like where most people would be like, yeah, whatever, guys. He's like,
no, that's fucking rad.
We're like hitting him up, being like, is this a good deal? He's like, go fucking buy that right now.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, cool.
No, that's rad. I mean, a lot of what brought me to Texas, besides music, back in the day, like in the 90s when I moved down there, was when, was like the poster scene, and there was a particular artist there, Dave Hawley, Mosquito, and he did all this like crazy Reverend Horton Heat stuff before Reverend Horton Heat was shit. But he was like this. He was a graffiti artist, and he started doing posters. And I met him one time when I was visiting down there, and I knew who he was from like a magazine article, and that was like the thing that sent me over. I'm like, I'm moving there because he was so cool and like brought me in. Same deal, same deal. It was just like, this is how you do lettering. This is how, this is what I take from this. Like, opened up all his fucking insecurity boxes so I could see like, oh yeah, we all are going through this fucking crazy shit. You don't have anything really figured out. You just figured out what you know how to do.
You're using what you got and making it happen.
So those people are fucking great. And being a part of that poster scene in Dallas, like in the early 90s, I've got some really fucking cool, like seminal posters from that time period. Yeah. That I had Mosquito commission like artwork for a band or something like that. Right. Or shit that he didn't make the deadline. It's just like, I have this poster for this date that we didn't get it together before the fucking show happened or whatever. Right. So cool. I mean, that stuff's got to like not go away. I mean, what I'm coming to is like the silkscreen poster, like it's got to stay around.
Yeah, I've been learning all the screen printing shit. You know what I mean? I'm more, I know business. I know how to sell. Yeah. I'm a salesman, right? Yeah. Like we all know that. But like, so I'm learning like technical business things like for the government and all these other deals and like how to operate some of that shit. But like Nico's also been teaching me everything I need to know about screen printing. So now like I'll show you, but out in the garage we had to get a new exposure unit, so I cut a deal with a guy, met this fucking raddest Facebook Marketplace pickup ever.
Did it go down in Belton?
No. It was in Baser, Kansas.
I feel like every Facebook Marketplace deal goes down in the fucking Casey's in Belton.
Yeah, that's a great place for it. But we've been looking for an exposure light because the one we got with all of our shit is small as fuck, right? And I'm like, this ain't, especially after finding out like, hey, we're going to take over this whole space now. It's like, okay, we got to be able to rock and roll. So 10 o'clock at night on Saturday night, I'm sitting over there on the computer and just looking on Marketplace and reply to this ad for a $1,200 light, knowing I ain't got $1,200 fucking dollars to buy it, you know?
Yeah.
Just shooting my shot, right? They hit me back. I'm like, are you firm? Well, we could come down to this. I don't reply. Then they hit me with the, well, what are you thinking? I'm like, look, there's a bunch on OfferUp for like $500. I honestly, we're in a pinch. I got like $450 in cash that I could bring to buy this. And, they were like, yeah, okay, well, we could do 5. And I was like, all right, well, you want me to come tonight or tomorrow? And they're like, you can come tonight. I'm like, but you said he doesn't print anymore. Is there more stuff? And they're like, yeah. So I grabbed some money out of the safe, right? I grabbed like $700. I drive out to Baser. Me and Junior jump in the car. We head out to Baser. This dude's in his garage. He owns a clothing company called Servants. And I'm like, his name's Los. He's a Mexican guy, head to toe, just straight up cholo tattoos. Yeah. Like real cholo, like done in the...
where you go to get them.
Up. Yeah. Right, you know what I mean? And it's like, this guy's from California. He's telling me his whole story, how he got sober, how he went to this church. They decided to move out of Cali. He came here to get sober 12 years ago, right? So he came here, got sober. And then I'm telling him, we're like, yo, I almost went to prison for 20 years just by some dumb luck. Like, they changed the law. I got straight to parole. I got sober. I've been sober 10 years. And he's like, oh, that's fucking awesome. He's showing me, like, his clothing company. He's like, I switched to doing direct, like, heat transfer shit. I don't even screen print no more. He's, like, laying all this game on me about, like, drop shipping for other clothing companies that he's going to hook me up with and, like, all this shit. So then we work out this crazy deal. And then it's just like... I'm going, Jesus Christ, this is crazy. Like, and he's like, dude, when I first got started, some old timer sold me all my shit for $750 so I could get.
Booyah! There it is.
Like, damn. And he's like, and after hearing you and knowing like the excitement that you have is what I had, and he's like, I'm trying to pass it forward. I'm like, fucking A. So I paid him money and I left. And he's like, pull up your Instagram. So I pulled up the grams and he followed them, right? Not even thinking about it, dude. Not in my head was I thinking like, yo, this guy, like whatever, you don't know, right? Like the art is sick. That's these like on these screens. Because I got like 36 screens. We got another flash dryer that's like a legit one, you know? All kinds of rad shit. Then I leave. This dude's clothing company is like a big deal. It's like hundreds of thousands of followers. It's like all about like leaving, like you can, it's like very positive and like, yo, it's like cholo art shit, but it's like being like, yo, you don't have to be a fucker no more. You can be a good person now, right? It's like very religious, but you know, it was fucking cool. And it was like, I was like, whoa. And then I was like, looked at it, I was like, holy shit, I had no idea. You know what I mean? But that dude's rules. I'm going to try to, he knew a bunch of like Clint, Clean Tea, that tattoos up there. He did a video with Clint, and he's hooked in with Lowrider, so him and I are going to do some shit. I'm going to try to get him over to be on the podcast. He's a really interesting, cool dude, you know what I mean? But what a score, dude. Yeah. Like, just what I needed.
Fuck yeah. Heat transfers.
Yeah. But he... You know, and there's like some weird thing with that where you get these printers now that like not buying the bulk ones. Like, you know, we did have those ones that we do and they're kind of like stiff, you know what I mean? But his weren't like that. And he's printing them on this printer that he has on his own, dude. And it's like, it's fucking nuts. I mean, this dude's got videos where he has billboards, electronic billboards in downtown LA with his clothing company on it. Like, it's a big deal, I guess. But yeah, so... you know, you hit it cholos and church people at the same time. What a fucking market that guy figured out.
Cha-ching.
You know what I mean? Cha-chingo.
Thank you, God.
Yeah, dude. For sure, dude. But you know me, I like a little, you know, I don't mind a little PMA, little Jesus PMA, you know what I mean?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, dude. As long as it's positive. Like, that's what I always tell people. I like some religion as long as it's positive. Like, I don't want to hear the fucking, you know, I grew up with my grandma being like, her Baptist church and Baser, is all fucking hellfire and brimstone, dude. I've been to some weird places. I remember me and my mom went to a church once, and the pastor started talking about how he was gonna wield. We were gonna wield the swords to strike down the gays. Me and my mom looked at me. He's like, "Yo, these are people that we knew outside of their church, right? But had no idea about any of this weird shit."
Yeah.
And I went to school with a bunch of kids that were there. Me and my mom got 10 minutes into this. Yeah. We stood up and skedaddled.
Yeah, fuck all that.
I've been shamboozled by a few people when it comes to religion, because I had a buddy whose wife worked at the church I was going to right when I got out of. They did like the prison ministries, so I was going there afterwards.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Oh man, you guys should go listen to this guy speak at this church." And we're like, "Okay." And it's like some dude that used to be an outlaw biker and a drug addict, and he's reformed, and he has like a real positive message. I was like, "Cool."
Yeah,
dog. We go there. His wife works for this other church. She knows people there. So we can't just fucking walk out.
Yeah.
Right? Because that would be rude.
Right.
Like, she would be mad at us. Dude, 5 minutes into this thing, they're blowing some fucking Viking horn. It's a Christian church. They're blowing Viking horns. People are speaking in tongues and season on the floor. And I'm looking at him and I'm going... I just looked at him and said, "Where the fuck did you bring me, dude? Like, this just got weird. This is like, are they gonna bring snakes out? Are we going to get bitten by a snake?"
If it's weird or sneaky, it's probably weird.
Yeah, it's probably weird.
Yeah.
There was nothing weird or sneaky until we got there, and they were like, they were like talking about their upcoming things. They're like, "Well, now when this speaker's here, it's a closed service to members only." And I was like, "Say what?"
Yeah. Wild.
But, you know, back on art. So after all that, I successfully burned the Facebook story leading to, I successfully burned my first screen last night. So I was fucking stoked on
Hell
that.
Yeah.
But it's the poster for the show. So we're, instead of like buying shitty posters from now on, we're going to, like, when we throw our 4 events a year that we do, we're going to print our own, like,
that feels
make
great.
them, boom, get them out to the right people. You don't need that many anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many places can I hang a fucking show flyer up at now?
Very few.
Record store.
The record store, the coffee
your
shop.
Your guys' bar.
Yeah, the tattoo shop.
Yeah. So, that was cool. It's been, you know, printing's different.
Hell
it's
yeah.
Cool.
No, it's crazy. I had a lot of experience, like a little bit in college and then in Dallas, but so utmost respect. I know how...
Dude, I got to print your design, though.
Hell yeah.
Like a
yeah,
week
the
ago.
130 gate.
The 130 gate. That was fucking sick. That thing came out. They came out badass.
Yeah, and it just came about like we played Zoink Fest in July. Because I'm in a Danzig Misfits cover band, 2nd year in a row now. Called the 138. And we normally just play, you know, Halloween season. Bunch of shows in October, but we played at Zoink Fest, Black Magic TV, in July. So we got it back together. But the idea came from that. Me and Sam were talking, the drummer, and he was just like, "Oh man, we should do like the Gates guy or something." And then I finally like got it together, redrew the whole thing, you know, just so it was just like, you know, not a take off of the original. I ripped my own shit and like threw it together. But yeah, they turned out fucking sick looking.
Super sick. And we like were able to like dial in like the colors perfect and like really fucking nailed it. We were stoked on it.
Yeah.
Like
the shirts look good too. Like I posted this shirt and I shit you not, I had probably like close to 50 people hit me up like, can I get a shirt? Can I get a shirt? And I was like, I just did the art. I have nothing to do with the sale. Like Stevie's got the sale.
Worst salesman ever.
Yeah.
Stevie.
And then I posted something about it, and a bunch of some of my people were like, "Was that for me? Were you posting that you didn't sell, that you don't have anything to do with the sales because of me?" I'm like, "No,
yeah,
I just had
a
bunch of messages."
Yeah,
but yeah, I think we sold a fuck ton of them.
Yeah, well, Stevie had me reprint more.
Yeah,
and then because the first show. At Belton, he was like, dude, there's too many fucking people, and it was like too hard to try to sell them, so I didn't really sell any. So I was like, okay. And then it was like Tuesday, he's like, I need more shirts, and I'm like, fuck, all right, I'll make it happen.
Yeah, we sold some when, like, so we played Belton for Weird Tattoos Halloween party, and then we played the Weirdo Tattoos Halloween party at the Roadside Bar and Grill in the old Pizza Hut.
OG fans of the show know Harold.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
The famous made me get tattooed while I'm fucking interviewing him.
He was great. We had a long bro down in the parking lot afterwards. And then the next week we played at Lucia in Lawrence. And
what is that place? Is that Terry's?
I'm not sure what it used to be. It's right next to the Granada. Like if you're facing the Granada, it's on the left side.
Yeah.
And it has that like little weird back patio that goes through the left. I can't remember what it was. Now it's called Lucia.
Terry's always posting about it, so I don't know if he's like part of it or if he just like.
I think he does like pop-ups there or something like that. But that went off for a Thursday night a week before Halloween. It actually went off pretty well, and I think we sold a bunch of shirts there.
Sick. Yeah, there was like Stevie's like, I have 1 3X request. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, print whatever.
Make it happen.
Make it happen, baby. I still need to go collect. I gotta get paid. I know
there's a few lucky boys. There's a few lucky boys and Fortunatis that are like, hey,
let me know about some sizes. And he's like, hey, can I? What's up with those shirts? I'm like, I have manufactured them. I don't distribute them.
Just like Glenn Danzig would, limited edition.
Yeah,
drive the price up.
Drive the price up. Because we did the other shirts too. The ones from last year. Yeah, the one that Cyan did for the summer. And then those are sick too.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
Yeah. No, they were cool. They were fun to do. I'm glad that we put the We Are 138s on the front instead of just doing the guide.
Yeah, they're sharp and they fit good too.
Yeah, I've been like getting like on that mode where it's like, I'm like, people are always like, I want the thing small and then it big on the back. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what's the fucking point of having the same thing? You know what I mean? Yeah. It just seems weird to me. I want to do something with you with your Mickey Mouse that you just did.
Oh yeah, I definitely need to get some tattoo shirts made for myself for sure.
Not just that, I think we need to do that might be our first. We might have to collab with you on a print, dude.
Okay,
like poster print of it.
I've got some other stuff in the bag too. Because I rarely I don't bring the iPad or anything like to the shop. I go straight analog at the shop. But if I have any like print work or any like side jobs to do, like then I'll do it. Like
I like that. I like that you're not sitting. I like that about like Wes's shit is like, we're drawing. Like we're not gonna.
Yeah, and everyone's free to do their own things. I mean, they're like.
I'm sure they do, but I think that's how you do it. Like you do it. Like Harold always did it that way.
Yeah, it
was always like he might print something out and trace something off of something else. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But a tool's a tool, but it forces you to keep your pencil sharp, so to speak. You know what I mean?
I think it makes you a better tattoo artist.
Yeah, and like absolutely, like drawing on paper and doing it a couple times before you get to the skin definitely helps.
But you're also drawing it to actual size.
Yeah. But like I said, when you like just get something that gets printed out and then you make a stencil and you slap it on
piece and you're drawing it this big and blowing up each section on a iPad this big, it doesn't seem like you can only draw this big and make it look good. You don't know how to draw a whole, like when I got my back done by Shay, I showed up, he had like a whole rigged up unit that was the size of my back.
Yeah, same. Like, I did my first back piece, started my first back piece this year on Ben Nunez before he moved to New York, and I did the same thing. I had him come in, I mapped out his back.
Yeah.
And I drew it to size, and I had to, because it was bigger than 4 pieces of paper. I had to like, make my own drop stencil and do everything old school,
Yeah.
But it worked. He's walking around New York flying the flag, and he's coming through around Thanksgiving and getting a session. Some more done. So
yeah, and you've done shit on everybody, Dan.
Yeah, I've really been just like trying to just tattoo as much as I can.
What's great about Dan is that Dan's like just down for it. You know what I mean?
Dan,
especially funny
and he's always
shit.
Changes it. He always last minute, like while you're like in it, he's like, make it more fucked up, or like he'll have some caveat to the
put a baseball hat on the hot dog.
Put a bubble above the skull saying "goo."
Yeah,
with a trademark like mark next to the bubble. Like you got it, Dan, on the fly.
Yeah.
But seeing his smiling face, that's really
Dan's like such a fucking idea man too.
Yeah,
like.
Make it more derpy. Yeah. That's like something Dan.
Yeah. But you know what he means when he says that.
Absolutely. I'm like derpy. And Jason Gherkin, I've been like drummer for Shiner. Like I'm his guy now. He comes in, he will tell me some insane idea that he's thinking about, and I will just draw it on the spot. And he's like, "That's it."
Yeah.
So it feels good. I'm having fun.
Yeah, people. I've been approached by a couple people. They're like, "Let me tattoo you." I'm like, "No, I'm fucking good, dude." And they're like, "What?" I was like, "I'm good, man." Like,
Yeah.
I don't. If I would have known tattoos were gonna be so fucking cool, I probably never would have even got one. But then, then I'm always like, well, then I could have joined the fucking CIA or something. You know what I mean?
Good God.
But Harold kind of ruined other tattoo artists for me.
I think, that's what you were saying before.
Because he's like, so, I mean, dude, like, just gets it. And, like, gets in there, goes.
Yeah.
Talks while he works, but never. Isn't the guy that's like, well, yeah, I gotta. No, it's like full blown. While he's doing something, he's talking and just doing the deal, and you don't even realize that, like, he's like, it's such
a great tool to have in your tool belt. If you can talk and work at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it makes it go by so much faster. It makes it hurt less.
Yeah. Hurt way less. When they're like, when you're with a silent warrior, dude. Where they're just in there doing battle with your fucking body.
Yeah, just treating you like a cadaver.
Oh my God. It hurts so bad. The back fucked me up. The back really, when I got my back done.
Oh my God.
But then ever since I had that heart attack, I've had like anxiety and shit pretty heavy. It's been getting better, but like, I just like fucking, the idea of like putting myself through more pain.
Oh
now
man.
is just like,
my back, luckily my back is complete. Like Chris Orr did my back. And I think we did it in like 13 sessions or something like that. It's a giant bald eagle, mostly black.
Yeah.
And I remember there was some sessions where I was going in and I was like supposed to be like getting drilled on for like 4 or 5 hours. And we spent like maybe like an hour over one of my kidneys. And I was just like, I'm good.
I got Shay.
And so they just like, kept going like that.
And Shay also, like Harold.
Oh, yeah.
When Shay was tattooing, he was a get it guy, but also kept your mind occupied while he was doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he didn't fuck around. He got your tattoo done, which you guys were all like that too. You know what I mean? Because that's
try to be
shit. You know what I mean?
I tell people, I'm like, I can talk your ear off or I can shut the fuck up.
But my tattoo, like an idiot, I went to Shay and was like, yo, the crucified skinhead? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, I want that, but I want a biker. And he's like, okay. So I show up thinking that it's going to be like this punk rock ass, just biker dude, like real shitty. You know what I mean? Dude, it starts at my neck and goes to my fucking ass crack. It's a giant crucifix with a giant chain all around it with a Grim Reaper at the top. And it's got like the 3 mounds with it. And on the mounds, there's like Harley parts at each one. And it's like, oh, fuck. And I'm sitting there like convulsing as we're like going outside. He's like, you cold? I'm like, no.
No, like my body's in shock.
We just tattooed my entire spine. I didn't think this one through, dude. Like, we didn't just do the back. We did
my
just
body
right
is
down the middle.
shaking because it's injured.
Yeah. It's just like, how fucking retarded could you be, dude? But that butt cheek, dude. The top of that butt cheek.
Yeah. Or down into the crack.
Dude, the top of that butt cheek. made me have a respect for so many just idiot ass dudes I know and so many chicks I know where I'm like, yo, how did you get your ass? Like, I know this chick who her whole asses. I know a couple chicks, their whole ass is tattooed.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, how'd you do that? Like, how did you fucking do that? That was like, I barely got to the top of it. That was the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life, I think.
No, it's fucking wild. And I'm still going, you know, like, like my back's done. I went to down to Austin last month and had a session with Tony Hundahl at Rock of Ages in Austin to like tie together a piece on my stomach, but it's pretty much outlined my whole chest into my armpit and it like when he wasn't tattooing me, I was just like like shaking like a leaf, you know, but it's just part of the game, you know. You gotta like find your stone cottage mentally and figure out a breathing pattern.
Through it, and then like that's the thing is like afterwards it's like wow.
Yeah. He was like, I'm sorry, there's no good place to start, and just went straight into my armpit.
I mean, dude, my whole back did the outline in like 2 hours.
Yeah, but that's why I went. I wanted a huge, great piece, and Tony's one of the best in the fucking world. Right. And so that's why I'm going to him. Yeah. You know?
I have like this photorealistic tattoo of my old Chevy van, and it's like by this guy, Nate Greco, who's like pretty famous for doing like these wreck cars, but it's the car like it's supposed to be going off a cliff. We never did the cliff. But that's the longest tattoo I've ever got. He drew the entire thing out by hand, shaded it and everything. It's all black and white. And it took about 9 hours for him to do it, which he hadn't been doing it very long then, but he's still just as good.
Right.
But like I'm sure he's much faster now. But man, that was while he was tattooing me, this other dude tattooed me over here and did a whole ass tattoo.
Oh, you went for a twofer?
I had a twofer.
That's the canceler.
Yeah.
It like just the double pain cancels you out.
But this guy finished so much faster than this guy that I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Like, this is like, it's on my leg right here. Yeah. It's just like, you're like sitting like this. And they keep like wanting to roll your leg. It's like, player, and I was fat then, you know? So it's like, my body doesn't move like that. Yeah,
you got to like be in all the right, like, do all the right things for yourself to get tattooed. It's like, that's like worst case scenario. You're like, oh, I'm dehydrated. Maybe I ate some mushrooms. Fuck it, let's do it. And you're like, oh no, what have I done? My whole body is burning.
When Harold did I was real nervous because Harold he's like, I'm gonna tattoo you. I got something I want to do, and I'm like, cool. Like, you know me, you know what I like. Yeah. You know. And when he was like, I'll do an interview with you, but you have to get tattooed while we do it. I think that'd be cool. I'm like, all right, I could see that. And in my head, I'm like, dude, I really don't want to fucking like, because this is post heart attack, right? Yeah. So I'm like already like in my head, like even tonight, like I got out of doing this, so then it's like I'm getting anxious. I'm right as you're knocking on the door, the dog's barking. I'm trying to check my blood pressure and just like fucking reinstate to myself that I'm fine, which I know I'm fine, but I'm like, it's a little high. But it's like, I got the dog yapping its head off. Keenan's at the door, like just fuck off with that for right now. But I'm like already nervous. I'm like, fuck. But getting the tattoo while we did it just made it to where there was so much going on that I didn't even realize that I was getting tattooed. And that's kind of a fucked up spot. Yeah. And it like didn't hurt at all. And it was just like afterwards I was just like, oh, like we got that done and we were still talking. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was like, it was cool. But he was like obsessed with it, dude. Several times Harold has fucked with me with tattoos. Like my palm. We were all
fucked with you. How do you mean?
Well, like I said, hey, I want to get this. This is a like an ancient spell of protection, right? Like old magic. Like obviously, black magic. That shit didn't just come out of nowhere. When I was all fucked up on drugs, what do people on drugs do? They start researching weird shit. I got way too into magic, like real magic. Yeah. But I was like, Harold, I want to get this tattooed, and we were at the horror convention up north, whatever that horror con is that they do. And Harold used to set up and tattoo at it. She's like, bring your van out, you get him for free. I'm like, cool. So I do that. And I'm like, hey, what if we just did it small? Like, and we put it like right here on my hand. He's like, yeah, let's do it bigger. Like, what if we did that? And then it's like the joke, like, let's put it on your penis. I was like, no, I'm good, dude. He's like, let's put it on like your chest. I'm like, nah, I was way fat then. I'm like, I'm not taking my shirt off in front of all these people at this convention. And then he's like, I was like, I like an asshole. We'd smoked a joint outside. And then we go, so I'm like, well, why don't we just do it on my hand? Harold's like, okay. And then he just like grabbed me and took me over there. I'm like, no. He's like, no. Come on. Come on, Mr. Tough Guy. Do it on your hand. So then I sat there as I watched him pull out the biggest tattoo needle I've ever seen. And just like go, okay, hunker down and grab my hand. And he's
just pull it back
to it like that. And he's got this thing and he's holding the tattoo gun like this, going, moving that slow. And I'm like, oh my God. And he's like dipping it. Like when he did the circle, he was holding the tattoo. I mean, the thing on the tattoo gun was the needle was huge. As people are just walking by going, well, I bet that hurts. And Harold would like look at him and push his glasses up and goes, no, it feels fucking great, bud. And I'm just sitting there going, will you stop talking to these people and just fucking do
Please
the
just continue.
But that was probably, that hurt. I
can only imagine.
This is this is 12 years old and it's only that one little spot where it's.
That's pretty fucking good.
Hand tattoo.
Hand tattoos, I mean, they fall out, you know. It's like one of like, you know.
Yeah, like on the knuckle right there. That's
where you shed the most skin.
Yeah, like hands. That little part. Yeah. He's gone over that every time he tattoos. There's like parts of these tattoos where every time he's done something, he'll be like, oh, let me get that. And just, and you're like, oh, fuck, dude. Like, I wasn't ready for that one.
Yeah, or people ask for it. I'm like,
yeah.
All right.
No, but I fucking love Harold. He's the dog. We met like when I was in the car club, and I had gotten my sister did the Easy Rider helmet. It's like a coupe drawing that was on the cover of Dice. Yeah. Real shitty, like in the living room of her house, right? And there, everybody's like, that's back when it was like, don't get a hand tattoo, you won't be able to get a job.
Yeah, everlasting job stopper, brother.
Whatever, dude. So like,
hope you like stocking cans on a third shift.
I was already working in a body shop. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go work in an office somewhere. Cut 2 years later, I've tried to get into the office of the body shops, and they're always like, yeah, probably not, Tyler. I'm like, oh, God damn it. But she did it real shitty, and it looked like shit. Like, it looked like it got done in a living room, like somebody was learning, right? And so, but she did that, and it came out good. It's old as fuck now, you know? That's that old how to draw a monster head thing that Roth and them put out.
Yeah.
But Harold saw it and he's like, I was like, I kind of wanted to get the other helmet from Easy Rider. It was like the whole vibe. He's like, well, let me hook you up, dude. Like, you put this fucking exhaust pipe on my car and I'll fix that tattoo and do the other one. I was like, okay. So I just pulled some shit out right there, welded up this exhaust, and he's like, all right. I was like, I'll see you next week.
I love that co-op level.
That's how Harold and I, like, we barely knew each other at all. And that's how we became so tight. And then I go out there, he did my hands, and then we've been fucking riding ever since. One time I paid him in Confederate money. I found this like Confederate money stashed away in this lockbox that my great grandma had hidden. And so I was just like, I was like showing Harold, I was like, dude, I just found all this like Confederate $100 bill. You know what I mean? It was real. It was like perfect. He's like, fuck. He's like, I collect weird stuff like that. I'm like, wow. He's like, let me get that and I'll tattoo you. I'm like, all right, here you go. Fucking paid him with this Confederate minted money, useless paper from the Civil War.
Yeah.
Grandma, that was a wild lockbox we found. It had my great grandpa's, like, he was the police chief of Merriam. It had his badge in it still. It had just weird shit that when she passed away, it was something that got stuck up in the loft in my parents' garage. And me and my mom just uncovered this shit one day. I was like, whoa.
That's fucking wild.
Crazy. Yeah, who'd have thunk my great granddad that I never met was like the police chief of Merriam or some shit. I don't know. Pretty wild. Never knew the guy.
Yeah.
Probably would have disappointed him.
Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
All my people are long gone, you know. It's
we got there. But I lost both grandmas last year. Only got one grandpa. Grandpa Fred's 92, still trucking, baby, hitting the casino daily.
Whoa.
He lives with my parents, so they're right by Hollywood Casino.
Gotta have something to do.
He'll be hit.
Gotta have something to do. Keep you going.
He hits that up. Then he goes to this Mexican restaurant up at the Legends and orders these fishbowl margaritas and shit. Like, he's just living it, dude. Yeah. He's having a blast. I'll go over there.
He's on the Lemmy program.
Dude, he's over there. He's at the house watching people play slot machines on YouTube, on TV. Volume just cranked to like 9 million. It's fucking great, dude. What a life that guy lived. Freddie boy.
777.
They used to run a little action. Him and my Uncle Dick, he told me they used to run a little action over at where Hillsiders is.
Oh, at the original 403?
Yeah, they used to run a little action there back in the day.
I believe that.
They were a couple of rowdy boys back in the 50s.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Spot's been known.
Yeah,
it's got a long storied history, that address.
Yeah. I was just up there helping secure the front windows the other day.
Oh, yeah.
There were Logan's World. People were going to try to bust in.
Yeah, there's been a rash of fucking break-ins over
here. Yeah,
here.
Nobody's fucked with your guys' stuff, right? Like,
no.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think anybody's...
It seems very serially targeted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the ones over here, I told them, I was like, yo, they seem to be picking certain places, and it also seems like, does anybody know, is there like someone that worked at all three of those places? Because how do you break into a bar and know exactly where the safe and the money is? Like, that's a weird thing to know. Like, also, who the fuck keeps their money in their place like that? Like, put the safe at your house, fool.
Yeah.
Like, at least if someone tried to rob you when you were taking the money from A to B, you could like keep a thing on you, pull that pistol out or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a different world we live in now.
Yeah, none of that shit's worth it. I mean...
No. Also, yeah, it's like...
But yeah, luckily, over at LB's and at the Tat Shack...
Lucky Boys, it's double-doored, no glass door.
Double door, I mean, you'd have to fucking crawl through a fucking glassed-up window, you know, or whatever.
Crawl through windows.
You'd probably not make it back out. But
what's somebody gonna do? Try to get an old slice and a fucking piece of za out of the pizza place? Like,
I mean, it's really like,
dude, I need a Coke.
It's really short-sighted to be like, in the lowest of times, going after like the smallest fucking businesses.
Yeah,
you know? It's just like, especially in like the thing is like, bar business, hospitality business dips from July 4th. Through October 31st. Every year it happens. Shit slows down. People go on vacation.
Yep.
It happens, and it doesn't come back up until around this time. Except in election years, it's even fucking worse. So everyone in the bar business, entertainment, everyone's hurting.
It doesn't just then
to have people like just like... I mean, there's going to be some vigilante justice handed out on that shit for sure. Because tensions are high.
And I always tell people, like, it's not hard to figure shit out. Like,
absolutely
not.
If
you're not a cop, like...
Shadows move at night, but the streets are always watching. You know what I mean?
Like, it's not hard. I told them, I was like... I was joking with Logan. I was like, I bet if I had that security footage, I could figure out who did it. And they were, like, joking, like, whatever. But in my head, I'm going, I got my stolen van back. That was a pretty big feat. Yeah. Like, it's not hard.
Especially when you... I mean...
And when you know people... I know
or just being a business owner, like, a lot of times you got to be the principal, and the principal's got to figure the shit out. Yeah, and that way also, as a street guy, I go, well, I'm gonna do something to let motherfuckers know, absolutely,
you're not doing this again. You're not coming down here again.
You're like,
and I think Logan already kind of has
I always just come with attitude like, I want answers, and you're gonna fucking give them to me.
Yeah, I blackmailed the crackhead to get my van back. I was like, if you don't tell me where all the shit was in the van, I'm going to tell your homies that you ratted them out. And they were just like, how would you do that? And I'm like, shit, what you thought? I didn't used to be a criminal? Like, there ain't no honor in this shit. You're over here.
Yeah, there's no honor amongst
You're ratting out car thieves. Like, what do you mean?
But, yeah, luckily we've been fine over there.
Yeah.
Bar and tattoo shop next to each other is good for... the whole neighborhood, like we keep it tight.
Well, in Venus, your wife, they
essentially
moved the shop, opened a second
location in the Crossroads, and then Westport kind of like started taking a turn over there on Westport Road, and they weren't locked into a lease. They were month by month, and the owner, they're on there like they'd been in that spot since late 90s.
Right. She's been there like 20 years, right?
Well over, and on their like fifth or sixth landlord and stuff, and it
now,
was just
did somebody else have that business and Venus like
Yeah,
bought it. Like she worked there and bought it.
Like
or?
Venus, like moved here from Vegas to work there, and then when they opened the Kansas City one, she moved from Columbia to Kansas City to open and manage that one, and then within a couple of years, was made partner by the owner, and now it's just the two of them. And then, so they've been
so
part
it's the same lane, and that's the one that she does the one in Lawrence.
Yeah, she oversees the one in Lawrence, but they both share, share all the responsibilities and stuff. But
yeah, it's a shared business.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% shared, local, female owned.
Right,
for the last 30
and
30
also
years.
Sort of like the essential, like long-standing, you weren't cool shit.
Well, and they also beat out the competition. Right. They had like some predatory competition a few years ago where a corporate chain that does the same thing moved it. They tried to move in next door but couldn't get the space, but they moved in down the block, and they outlasted them and beat them out, and that place is fucking gone. Out of town.
What place was that?
Buffalo Exchange.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they tried to get the spot next to ATC in Westport. Like, it was like that predatory.
At this point, I think she might be, because Peaches closed their retail location.
Yeah.
Billy kind of has one again, but Bill's on a different kind of trip. He doesn't do the same type of thing.
Yeah.
They've
just got it figured out. They've just got it locked in. Yeah. And they just do it better than anyone, Yeah. And it's because Venus is there doing it every day, because Jen is there doing it every day, and Lawrence, Well, also when you hire and train people to do the shit right. Yeah.
And the way you want it done, when you got a method, like, the shit works.
No, if I have any business advice, I'm lucky I don't have to go too far. It's across the across the kitchen table at breakfast.
Yeah.
Like, I usually ask Venus. I mean, she would be a great guest on here.
Yeah, that needs to happen for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
What a wild story.
Man.
Dude, she was every teenage dude.
Oh my
rocker's
God.
dream in this town.
Same.
Dude, when that album cover came out, and you're like, is this as a literal teenager, right? Yeah. When that Last of the V8s record came out, and being into this, like, realizing that I'm into hot rods, and our city is basically like the fucking worldwide hub of hot rod rock and roll at the time. And then, like, just find out about these things, but to be like, this is a real lady? There's, like, real ladies like this in our town?
It's like a top 5 album cover. It's like, it's right up there with, like, Stay Sick by the Cramps or something, It's like that iconic.
Right. And the record is also
absolutely
fucking so good.
And I moved away right before all that shit happened. Like, right when she moved here, I had just moved away to Texas. And I came back once and I visited, and I saw that fucking shit, that Last of V8 show poster, and I took it back to Texas with me, and I put it in my office.
Yeah.
When I worked for Camel or whatever.
Yeah. I remember there being a flyer on the wall. They had a thing of, like, newly released at CD Warehouse, and they had taken them up there, and they put the poster up, and then they had the CDs in front of it, and I bought. Yeah. That's where I got my copy. And then years later, I was in a band with Chris Ward.
Yeah. I was telling someone this week, we were talking about it. It was like, we were talking about that cover specifically. And when Sylvain, right before Sylvain passed, this picture of Venus and Sylvain popped up, where it's just like, they're at the brick, and someone else in the picture is pulling Venus's, like, shirt up over her fucking titty.
Yeah.
And she's got a sheer bra on, but Sylvain is behind her, like, just, like, reaching around and, like, grabbing her belt loop, like, looking like the happiest motherfucker in the world. But the story is that Sylvain was playing at the brick, and he saw that fucking poster on the wall, and he was like, holy shit. who is this woman? And they're like, that's Venus. She's from here. She's like, holy shit, this woman lives here? Is she coming to the show? And they're like, no, she's playing a show at another spot tonight. They're like, someone should call her. And someone got a hold of her. They're like, Sylvain wants you to come down to the Brick. Yeah. Because he saw your poster. So she came down like after the show or something.
Sick.
And got this like hilarious picture. So when he passed, as a proud husband, posted that picture right up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, that rules. Yeah. And she's always been...
She's been a rocker. No, she's always
like
been
a real person that, like... Dude...
She's from Las Vegas.
She's a rocker. I love that she's very, like... She's not afraid to tell you how she feels about something, but she isn't going to motherfuck you if that's not your bag.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is so cool.
She was so understanding and, like... She really is a fucking saint. She's like a rock and roll saint. Like, she's beat people with fucking bar stools for, like, you know, kicking me in the side, like in a bar fight and shit before. But it, like, you know, like, she'll also turn around and do anything to help anybody that, you know, in her bubble that she works with or cares about. And it's, you know, it's always refreshing because, you know, bar tattoo business, I can be, you know, I can sometimes be a little on the harsh side, you know, where like...
Yeah.
So...
No, and I think at the end, like, after, you know, you quit drinking and you changes the bar thing a little, right? Like, and then I think at the end, like, right before you started doing the tattoo shop, I could very well tell that you're like... just going down there to see you at the bar and like hang out because I'm already sober.
Right.
Then I was very in tune to the point of like, oh, Keenan is really fucking over these people at this point. Like the drunk people gets fucking old. You know what I mean? Especially when that fucking guy walks in and you already know that it like you don't want to be like, dude, get the fuck out of here because you're running a business, but you also know like. This motherfucker is gonna be an idiot in 5 seconds.
But I'm always gonna be that person to take care of that, whether I'm bartending or not.
Right.
So it's not like I'm not there or present in that regard anymore. I'm still there running the show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But like being on, you know, focusing on just like.
It's nice to have seen the place grow from where it was like you guys all swapping out nights, the three of you, to where now it's like. Yeah, I'm fucking over there one day a week. At night,
and if there's an emergency or someone's having so like when Nate was like having his kid, I dropped my shit and drove back from Texas because I knew that like someone had to be on shift that weekend,
right?
Just in case, and I was right. Like you know, that Friday night he had to leave at like midnight, and I was back the next day. But not being on shift, not dealing with drunk people in that regard on the regular is definitely like. Definitely a breath of fresh air.
But it is nice that like you're also just like you're tattooing at a place right next door to your other business, which is cool because you get to like in case there's an emergency,
right?
There.
Or if like I'm there to close it down, close down either. That's fine. I mean, that's just in me. Like I've always been like you know, like an operating manager, general manager type anyway. So I'm all in that regard. But not being on shift, back to Venus though, like me, like quitting drinking, she matched my energy, you know, like it was like a year, like almost a year into it. And she realized she's like, I can't keep, you know, or like, I can't keep doing this if he's, you know, so she changed with me, you know, she met me and changed with me after a few years, which was like incredible, you know, and that's just how our relationship's been. We've always been, you know,
dude, and
on
it's
that same level.
It's hard. You know what I mean? I'm like absolutely nothing, you know what I mean? So it's like the more I get into it, the less fucking like I can handle somebody being shithouse and trying to like deal with them as long as they're not like on the negative aggression side, right? But like, man, there's times where like if I had problems with chicks I was dating where it's like, you know, they get shithouse ass drunk and they start running their mouth to you like, you fucking,
the time to
you
fight.
think you're so fucking tough, and it's like, oh man, you're like saying all the shit that
No,
you're doing
like,
this thing right now.
yeah,
You know,
just,
like all
it's
this shit to say to me to make me mad.
It's like
and
the
I'm
button
not
pushing time, yeah. And I always used to have this thing because like when we both drank, we both had those times where it was like, oh shit, it's fighting time.
Yeah.
And I would be like, hey, if you really feel like this tonight, say this shit to me when the sun's up. Let's talk about this when the sun's up. This is not the time.
Yeah.
And that always made it worse. But
yeah.
But it's still
that shit it's crazy. But now
it's still
shit don't happen at all, right?
Well, it's still something I say to drunk people or anyone in general.
Right.
I typically don't talk business after dark.
Yeah.
So
I had a situation the other day where someone that I decided after the disrespect they had shown a lot of us, and I was like the last holdout of like, come on, dude. I was like, nah. And they came up to me at your show, and I was just like, dude, I just put their hand I picked their arm up with one finger and just went, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And they went, what? I was like, I'm good. And then later on they came back, and it was just like eventually I'm like, dude, this is not the time or the place to have this fucking like, I'm here to have fun, and like, I paid money to get into this thing to see my friends perform a show, and you're fucking making it not fun, dude. And then it kept on. It was like, finally I was just like, do you not understand? No. Like, you're an adult. And I just walked off. You know what I mean? And then after that, it's like, all right, couple more songs that I got to leave. Because I have to police myself. Because then I start going, well, now I got to punch this guy in the fucking face in front of everybody. And it's
absolutely.
And then it's like, this is the last thing I'm trying to do at Stevie's spot where I hold, like, I already had it.
Yeah.
I already got in trouble by that person that punched me last time I got into an altercation there. My ex-girlfriend, she saw us talking about that on an episode of the podcast, was like, I can't fucking believe you. I'm like, what do you mean? All I did was say you punched me in the face. I didn't even say your name. Now. Shelby. I'll say it right now. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, I've been trying to get to this point where, like, I have this thing, I call it I ain't no bitch. That's what I call it. I call it the I ain't no bitch syndrome.
Right.
And it's like a very much a product of like being a criminal and being a street guy in that world where like I was the door guy, but I was also doing this. So there was never a time like back in the day where I could nobody could ever punk me out because
absolutely
it goes away.
I come from that same mentality, and I call it the last of the cool hand Lukes.
Yeah,
it's just like I try to come with an attitude where I command respect,
right?
And that's what I give. And if I'm also a mirror, so anyone that comes with anything else, if you don't like what the fuck you are seeing, take another look, because I'm just giving you what you're giving me. And I'm
trying to get to it. I'm like, all right, I don't want to, I'm trying to like not have physical confrontations in my life anymore. So I'm like, all right, I need to like figure out a different way. So I've been working on trying to figure out what can I do different on my end where it's not from like, I had somebody else, I called somebody out for like being up at the fucking high school that my kid goes to, and they were filming some shit and they were filming the kids, and I told you about I told you about the rollerbladers or whatever, you know what I mean? There was this guy, they were up there trying to film rollerblading parts, but they were filming these kids, and I say, why are you filming these kids? And then it goes from there, and then at one point they say to me, you need to fucking calm down, and it's like, oh fuck, dude. Now you make me want to go get a baseball bat and break your fucking legs. But I know I can't do that. Right. But I want to. You know what I mean? But like I'm trying to figure out how do I talk to people where I don't. You know what I mean? I don't even let them get those slick ones in.
Yeah.
That's the real danger zone.
It's tough. You just got to get a hold of yourself and not let yourself get mad.
Yeah, and
I anger, that's the easiest emotion. Yeah. And like old John Nichols always told me, he's like, the only thing good to come from getting angry is how good you feel when you finally get the fuck over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but I feel you. I mean, motherfuckers would be activated out there and habitually line stepping.
Dude, line stepping. And it's just like, fuck, man. How do I deal with this? How do I? It's like, there's some people too, and thankfully, you know, there's other people around that when these situations arise, they're like, you know, there's people that like people go to and they're like, bitch about me. You know what I mean? Like they bitch at Logan from Hillsiders, and Logan's like, if he tells you to do something, you just fucking do that thing. You don't argue with him. Like he's not. And that's what Dalton and Justin say too. It's like, why would you? I don't.
Everyone's the hero of their own fucking story, and I'm definitely the villain in a lot of those stories. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but, I'm the. Yeah, we have you and I have that in common for sure. But
I'm also the hero of my own fucking story. So.
And it's not even about the hero. It's
just I get it. I mean, I get it, and you know, it's just like, but yeah.
It's just sometimes it's also nice to know your homie's got your back to where it's like, you know, Dan always tells me when people bitch at him, he likes to look at him and go, but what did you do?
Oh, absolutely.
What did you do? Like you're here complaining to me about something you're claiming some shit, but what did you do to cause this, man?
Yeah.
And then that when he told me that one time, that's like one of those weird things that Dan tells me and it makes me click. Like, okay, like you got to be on your shit and not try to be on point. You know?
Yeah. I like to also, if someone tells me something just fucking crazy, the only thing I can say to qualify the statement is like, wow, that's a fucking weird story. You know, like.
That's a good one. I'm have to remember
if something's unbelievable, I'm like, wow, that's a fucking weird story. And that's usually all I get. You know, that's like the perfect, like, period on that.
Yeah. All right, I'm done with this one.
The end.
Later. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. You know what? I'm going to double check this. I believe this is going. But... Oh, yeah, we're good. I have when I don't do this for a while, I get mildly paranoid because I've had so many times where it fucks up.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, God damn it.
Yeah, I started DJing again since the last podcast.
Sick.
Straight, all vinyl, and so I've been doing a bunch of that stuff, but, like, I feel you.
Yeah.
The last time I DJ'd at Hillsiders, there was a couple tight moments.
Oh yeah, you did the opening night of that music fest.
Yeah, that
right?
music fest, but it was also there was a sports curse that night, and that there was some October Royals baseball going on.
Oh God,
which resulted in low attendance.
Yeah,
which happens. I mean, when the sports is fucking like high stakes, no one is, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not a big...
No one wants to hear fucking Link Ray records.
It's like, yeah, I do.
They want to hear fucking whatever his face is talking over it.
You know, I've never... I got a lot of friends and they don't understand it, but I'm not a sports guy at all. And I could like... And I don't know if it comes from like, you know... being a punk rocker in a like a smaller town where like you're getting made fun of by all the jocks and shit, and there's like a real jocular culture at that time to where it's just like, yeah, these are the same guys. Like also, I don't know, it's a bunch of guys getting paid millions of dollars to play children's games.
That too.
It's weird.
Like, and I totally understand you, and I feel exactly the same way with it, other than, you know, I've always been like a lone character even in high school, so like I floated, like I didn't like exactly belong in one group or whatever. I like mixed with everybody, so it was like I got along with like jocks and shit. I played a little sports, you know, like in when I was like, you know, in Cub Scouts and shit,
right,
you know, 80s America, everyone had to, but it's just like it's so hard to even fucking enjoy the shit now, like not on any kind of corporate level, because for like the last few years I've tried to like not deny myself football and enjoy it in a what I call like my Hunter S. Thompson football Sundays, where I just, you know, eat some mushrooms and watch football. I don't give them anything but the airwaves. I don't buy any corporate fucking NFL shit. I don't get an app. I don't bet any money. I just try to enjoy the sport for the sport,
Right.
And colors or whatever may happen. But still to this day, now that we've won 3 titles here in Kansas City, the thing that the sports has done to the city makes me not like it anymore.
Right. I was telling somebody the same thing. I was like, I really wish the fucking sports teams would all suck again so we could afford to live here.
Absolutely.
Because it's close to being where, like, it's going to price all of us out to not the suburbs, right? But, like, you're talking about being an hour away from downtown to find affordable housing.
Yeah.
Because I look, and it's nuts. Like, I'm watching as, like, the entire hood has been gentrified, and I'm watching as, like, okay, but what about all these people that use social services? Like, you got all these... Like,
the minute they're not winning the floor, the minute they're not, none of the teams are winning, the floor falls out. Like a city that's all based on sports tourism is clown shoes. Especially when it's only 2 sports. There's nothing to like going the whole year.
Yeah, before that we had art, and then they destroyed the. They did nothing but destroy the art district.
I know.
Before this used to be a huge music town, and what do? We corporatized the entire music district, and now where do you go see him? COVID was the last fork in that fucking soup. You know what I mean?
It's been something for years that it's like behind the bar. Everyone was like really surprised to like hear me get down on the socioeconomics of Kansas City and what's wrong with that type of shit and how that doesn't support or feed local business in the least.
Right.
People are always surprised to hear me have that view, but it's the truth.
I feel the same way. It's
like the best the best of the pitch came out this week.
Oh God!
Which and several of the winning. I mean, this just tells you everything. Several of the winning things were
corporate
businesses,
right.
Like Big Biscuit and shit. Like it's just like people are not voting for this. They spend advertisement dollars with the pitch, and then they get an award. That's how that shit works.
And who get and like
it's just like
when's the last time you? I don't even know the last time I saw a pitch weekly.
Yeah, absolutely. But then everyone gets on social media and hangs it up like, oh, we won this award.
Yeah.
Like,
cool. I should, dude. This
is part of the big problem going on. This is like don't be surprised when all restaurants and bars go.
We'll make the Black Magic TV best of. It's like I'll just go to the places I like and put make a certificate. It's like you've been voted the best record store in Kansas City.
Oh yeah, I've been all about this one where it's just like voted best in the world. Yeah. just some insane accreditation that doesn't really exist, but
you're the best tattoo shop in the 7th district of the 3rd county. It's like
voted best in the world by everyone.
Yeah, voted the best.
Lend my voiceover. My voiceover capabilities.
This is the fucking best in the
Lucky
galaxy.
Boys hot chicken sandwich.
Yeah,
voted best in the world by everyone.
Yeah, dude. But even I was just thinking, the menu at your guys at Lucky Boys is like the definition of AA person mentality, because it's like keep it simple, stupid. There's 5 things.
Right.
You get people to make them really good. Then it's never fucked up. And then
that's how you get known for things,
Yeah.
It's like
I know someone that has a restaurant there. Dude, this is the most. I finally understand what cultural appropriation is. Because
you went to a Buc-ee's?
No. I saw as a white person owns a bar up north, and I get this invite on Facebook to come to their Day of the Dead party.
Oh shit, here we go.
They're white as hell.
Yeah.
Then there's a drawing of them as a sugar skull on the thing.
Wow.
They got blonde hair, like real blonde hair. And I'm going, yo, this is crazy. And then I hit up somebody that's mutual friends, like, yo, this is kind of wild.
Or something.
Yeah. I'm like, this is wild, dude. Like, this is a step beyond. And they're like, well, I don't know. I was like, dude, when's the last time you went to a Mexican restaurant for a fucking St. Patty's Day shindig? And they're like, I see what you're saying. I'm like, you're supposed to go engage in the culture and learn about it, not fucking throw your own festival.
Look at Cinco de Drinko or whatever. It's like the
same thing.
It's shitty white people day, you know. It's
also
like,
just so everyone knows, if you go out on if you bitch about racism and then you're a bartender and then on St. Patrick's Day you have anything called the McButtfuck or whatever shot, that's definitely racist towards Irish people. Just so you know that when you say Mick, that's a racist slur. It pisses me off. Just the same. There's one other thing I'd like to bring up is that like. I don't give a fuck about these politicians, but I am real tired of hearing liberals go, you can't vote for a convicted felon. And I look at them like, I'm a fucking felon, man. Like, that seems sort of shitty. Like, that's not a reason. Like, you're trying to say people can't change. I don't like that. That's it. That's my bitch for the day. That's been on my mind all day.
You know, teach one man that he's better than another and you'll have a fucking voter forever.
Yeah. That's true. I put up a picture of a IRA guy that said fuck your vote.
Right.
Several people messaged me not happy about that. But I'm like, I don't fucking vote, man. I can't get behind these people and their class politics. I'm trying to give peanut butter to the homeless people down the street.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a really fucked up situation that we're in, and you know, I mean, I understand where everyone is. I'm not telling anyone what to do. I went and voted, you know.
Right.
You know, I'm in good standing. I can vote. I can.
I can vote in Kansas. I just I refuse to. I think if people want to, if I was gonna get real about it, I think we need to fucking boycott the vote right now and say, no, fuck you guys. We want real options of actual people who aren't bought and paid for by corporate interest, who haven't been haven't been fucking in the legal system as a dirty prosecutor for 20 years, who don't have BlackRock in their, who aren't in the pocket of BlackRock, who might be the literal worst thing that's going on in this country. And to top it all off, while the election's going on, they're fucking having press briefings live streamed that I saw where North Korea is invading or is joining the war with Russia in the Ukraine. And it's like, you're doing this right now. You're waiting till it's the middle of election night, and these motherfuckers are being like, well, by the way, the fucking North Koreans are now in this fucking war. It's like, no, you wait till tomorrow to tell us
Wag
this
the
shit,
dog.
dude. Yeah. It's wild, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, like, if there's, it's I mean, it's just so nuanced and fucked, but there's just so many other, like, things, like, on the line this year that are just, like...
Oh, no, I told everyone,
I went through it. I definitely went through it, and then I had, you know, I couldn't look at my, like... wife or nieces or my mom in the face and be like, no, I didn't do it, or you know, like,
no, I already went. We had that vote in Kansas already. It was like a freestanding thing they did,
and with like you know, the fucking like Supreme Court hanging in the fucking balance. You know, like I couldn't. Yeah.
The abortion shit. I'm not about removing any rights that we've already earned in any form. Like, we don't take rights away. Those are already. When we've established something as a human right,
it shouldn't be male, female. Everyone should have their own fucking autonomy. This is fucking insanity.
Yeah,
you know,
I have my feelings about all this wild, weird shit. Right, I can have my feelings about it, but also I am not a person. When you've had all of your rights stripped away from you.
Oh, for real. Or like the illusion of choice. Right. You know, this two-party system, or like the last election where it was just like the people put all that money into fucking Bernie Sanders, and then the DNC said no and took it.
Dude,
you know, and like it was just like
ready to say that, and then they did it again this year.
It's fucking insanity, you know. It's
they
just
did,
like
they did the same. They can never.
But here we are. It's this, you know, until there's total collapse.
Right. It's insane to me that, like, I'm a registered independent, so I do not partake in the system in that way. But it's insane to me that as a person that is a Democrat, like, how you stand by when they go, okay, we're going to have this guy, the president's going to run again. And then at the last second, they're like, gotcha. And it's like, well, no, that's not, I don't think that's how this works. Like, I'm pretty sure this is not how you do this.
I think it was so, you know, it's like not even that deep.
Yeah.
They like, I think they were just so like, didn't tone deaf to America that it was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like,
I do too. I think it was.
He physically can't do this.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh no, we'll have her do it. But even that's what I'm saying. That ain't how you. When you decide, never mind, he can't do it. Like that ain't how you pick somebody.
No, it's fucking insanity.
But they don't care, dude, because they did it again. And at the time, I didn't know how to feel about Bernie Sanders. You know what I mean? Hindsight, I think he probably would have won the presidency, and probably isn't as radical as people made him out to be, and I think we would.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he would have been a great choice, and I think there's a lot of people in the government that have done good shit and are like I think that Dan Crenshaw dude that was a Republican, he left the Republican Party. He seemed pretty. That's the dude with the eye patch. That dude was pretty legit. I think Tulsi Gabbard was really legit, and it's like I think they get pushed out by the fucking the establishment that is like, no, you're gonna go with this, or you can get out.
Well, I mean, it's on your hands, you know. It's really hard to be free when you're bought and sold in the marketplace,
right? Well, and right now, like, hey, you can vote, you can fucking bet on the election now, like legally.
Complete
when that
insanity.
Happens, there's no. Once gambling
that's
is involved,
on the fucking ballot in Missouri. Like that was some shit like we voted on today.
Yeah,
to allow that.
To
try to keep
gambling.
the fucking Chiefs here. You're like, give me a fucking break.
Let them go. See ya. Get out of here.
It's like it's gonna go straight into like, Running Man style, like with all the betting and shit. Now, like, people are gonna like start like going after athletes.
Yeah.
If the parlay don't come through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like there's so many activated crazy fucking people out here.
Dude.
It's just like.
It's like. Yeah, my friend was telling me about the Missouri ballot where it's like they wanted to put a riverboat in the Ozarks and the this and the that. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you need all this? Like, there's plenty of fucking casinos already. We don't need more casinos. Yeah. There's like, we started off with 2. Now there's like, 8 in the metro. Like, cool, we're cool here. Well, like, there's plenty of casinos everywhere. If you want to go to a casino, go to a fucking I'll go Indian casino, whatever the fuck it is, Native American casino. Go to the reservation and hit that casino. Give those people your money. Like,
house always wins.
Yeah, you're gonna lose no matter what. Don't matter where you go. It's fucking, dude.
Well, the city is over budget. Typically, like $8 to $10 million every year for the last like 12 to 15 years. So then on a civic level, they can't say no to any concessions or anything from anyone moving or developers coming here to like do shit.
Right.
And so here we are.
I always bring up, there's a story where anytime politics comes up, it reminds me when Sly James was running for mayor. Chris Ward's wife was running for
city council.
And Tracy was like, somehow it was like Federation of Horsepower. And then they were like, hey, does the Savage 7 want to play? And at that time, like, I wasn't into politics at all. Like, I didn't know. I'm in my mid-20s. I'm playing rock and roll. You knew me. Like, I didn't care. I was on another shit. I didn't give a fuck about none of that. And they're like, yeah, you want to play? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. It's a show to me. I didn't realize it was something like the Democratic Party of Kansas City was hosting this thing, right? Like, I had no idea about any of that. I didn't know that most artists were liberal. I didn't know about any of that shit.
You didn't know you was going to be rocking Claire McCaskill.
Yeah. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, right? So this dude's telling me, like, just do whatever you guys want to do. It's at the Beaumont, and we're in the green room. And I brought, like, 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces of, like, fire weed with me. And we just start chiefing. For, like, 3 or 4 hours we're there. From the time loading started till whenever, I just kept on smoking. And at one point, we're all in there, and the guy who runs the Beaumont just full-blown kicks the green room door in because it was like right next to the stage. He goes, "What in the fuck are you doing back here?" I said, and I quote, "Whatever I want," because that's what you told me I could do, whatever I wanted to do. He goes, "I got a room full of cops, judges, and lawyers out here, and you got like a fucking Cheech and Chong convention." I'm like, "Oh, my bad." And then there was like an Elvis impersonation. It was the weirdest thing I'd ever played. And then it was just like, how in the fuck? And then I get up there and sing about robbing people, running from the FBI, and slinging drugs. And these people are just staring at me like, what in the fuck is this, man? It's good, though.
Here we weren't going to talk about politics.
I know. It all goes back to politics. It's election night, baby.
Hey.
Fuck them.
Mongo.
Until
only pawn in Game of Life.
Free, no one will be free, bro.
Mongo, world. Only pawn in Game of Life.
Yeah. Oh, shit. All right, well, I don't even know what time it is. Where are we at here? I'm sure we fucking rip run. Oh, yeah, this is a ripper. This is a barn burner. Tell everybody where they can find you at online. On the gram, it's just
Instagram, Keenan Nichols. I do have a private account. I mean,
right.
Everyone asks me, how's that work? You're a tattooer, the private account, but I was also like a business owner first, and so if I can tell you're a real person, I'll let you follow me. But if I upset someone, then they want to like ruin my life and my livelihood, so I got to keep it private.
Right.
But I'm on there. You can find me there. Follow me. You can find me on.
You follow Grim Tattoo.
Yeah, follow the shop, Grim Tattoo KC.
Lucky Boys,
Fortunati Pizza, 138s.
All that shit.
All that.
All right, dog. I love you. Thanks
I love
for
you,
coming
man. Thanks for having me back.
Always about to get Venus on. Norcross is coming on. He said, Norcross said, "I'll come on as long as you don't talk about the story." And I was like, all right. And I was like,
what story?
About how you and I talked about how that year on St. Patty's Day, we went into the office and he was just fucking sprayed out with all the money on. I was like, yeah, we don't have to talk about that. He's like, because you said it so many times. I'm like, it's a fucking great story.
It was only like, we barely mentioned it.
Yeah, it was the greatest St. Patty's Day ever. Was like, finding where's Justin and everybody being concerned. It's great. We love you, Justin.
Yeah.
You're the best. All right. We'll catch you all
later.
All right.
Thanks.